وقل رب زدني علما.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. Inshallah, we have the class from the Dars Tafsir, class of Tafsir from Surah An'aam. Inshallah, we start from verse 121. Verse 121. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ولا تأكلوا مما لم يذكر اسم الله عليه وإنه لفسق وإن الشياطين ليوحون إلى أوليائهم ليجادلوكم وإن أطعتموهم إنكم لمشركون. Inshallah, we need to benefit from the sharh of Shaykh Sa'di rahimahullah. Inshallah, at the end of the explanation of this verse from the Shaykh said the Tafseer of Shaykh Sa'di rahimahullah, and also the explanation of his Tafsir, summarized inshallah ta'ala these categories the Shaykh will mention inshallah.
قال الشيخ السعدي رحمه الله في تفسير قوله تعالى: ولا تأكلوا مما لم يذكر اسم الله عليه وإنه لفسق وإن الشياطين ليوحون إلى أوليائهم ليجادلوكم وإن أطعتموهم إنكم لمشركون. قال رحمه الله: ويدخل تحت هذا المنهي عنه ما ذكر عليه اسم غير الله، كالذي يذبح للأصنام وآلهتهم، فإن هذا مما أهل لغير الله به. كالذي يذبح للأصنام وآلهتهم،
مبني للمعلوم أو للمجهول.
كالذي يذبح للأصنام وآلهتهم، فإن هذا مما أهل لغير الله به، المحرم بالنص عليه خصوصا. ويدخل في ذلك متروك التسمية مما ذبح لله كالضحايا والهدايا أو للحم والأكل، إذا كان الذابح متعمدا ترك التسمية عند كثير من العلماء. ويخرج من هذا العموم الناسي بالنصوص الأخر الدالة على رفع الحرج عنه. ويدخل في هذه الآية ما مات بغير ذكاة من الميتات، فإنها مما لم يذكر اسم الله عليه، ونص الله عليها بخصوصها في قوله: حرمت عليكم الميتة، ولعلها سبب نزول الآية لقوله: وإن الشياطين ليوحون إلى أوليائهم ليجادلوكم بغير علم. فإن المشركين حين سمعوا تحريم الله ورسوله الميتة وتحليله للمذكات وكانوا يستحلون أكل الميتة. فإن المشركين حين سمعوا تحريم الله ورسوله الميتة.
نعم.
فإن المشركين حين سمعوا تحريم الله ورسوله الميتة وتحليله للمذكات.
التحليل بالجر أو بالنص؟
ظاهر أنها بالجر. جزاكم الله خير.
إياكم.
فإن المشركين حين سمعوا تحريم الله ورسوله الميتة وتحليله للمذكات وكانوا يستحلون أكل الميتة قالوا معاندة لله ورسوله ومجادلة بغير حجة وبرهان أتأكلون مما قتلتم ولا تأكلون مما قتل الله
تأكلون عندكم مما أو ما يا
ومجادلة بغير حجة وبرهان أتأكلون ما قتلتم ولا تأكلون ما قتل الله يعنون بذلك الميتة، وهذا رأي فاسد لا يستند على حجة ولا دليل، بل يستند إلى آرائهم الفاسدة التي لو كان الحق تبعا لها لفسدت السماوات والأرض ومن فيهن. فتبا لمن قدم هذه العقول على شرع الله وأحكامه الموافقة للمصالح العامة والمنافع الخاصة. ولا يستغرب هذا منهم، فإن هذه الآراء وأشباهها صادرة عن وحي أوليائهم من الشياطين الذين يريدون أن يضلوا الخلق عن دينهم ويدعوهم ليكونوا من أصحاب السعير. وإن أطعتموهم في شركهم وتحليلهم الحرام وتحريمهم الحلال إنكم لمشركون، لأنكم اتخذتموهم أولياء من دون الله ووافقتموهم على ما به فارقوا المسلمين، فلذلك كان طريقكم طريقهم. ودلت هذه الآية الكريمة على أن ما يقع في القلوب من الإلهامات والكشوف التي يكثر وقوعها عند الصوفية ونحوهم لا تدل بمجردها على أنها حق، ولا تصدق حتى تعرض على كتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم، فإن شهد لها بالقبول قبلت، وإن ناقضتهما ردت، وإن لم يعلم شيء من ذلك توقف فيها ولم تصدق ولم تكذب، لأن الوحي والإلهام يكون من الرحمن ويكون من الشيطان، فلا بد من التمييز بينهما والفرقان. وبعدم التفريق بين الأمرين حصل من الغلط والضلال ما لا يحصيه إلا الله.
أحسنت، بارك الله فيك. Inshallah, someone will read for us the translation of all that. Wow. Page 602 on this hadith, inshallah.
Do not eat anything on which Allah's name has not been pronounced. For sure this is a sin. The devilish ones inspire their friends to argue with you. If you obey them, you would become idolaters. Included in this prohibition are all those things on which a name other than Allah has been pronounced. For example, slaughtering animals in the name of statues and in the false deities of polytheists. Also included in this prohibition are those animals which are slaughtered for Allah, but over which His name has not been recited loudly at the time of slaughter. For example, the sacrificial animals are animals that are routinely slaughtered for meat. Many scholars are of the opinion that such an animal will become impermissible if Allah's name has not been pronounced deliberately. However, if someone genuinely forgets to pronounce Allah's name before slaughtering the animal, then he is exempted from this restriction. Additionally, this prohibition also includes animals that have died without being slaughtered, because Allah's name has not been pronounced over them. The verse, "Forbidden to you are dead animals," offers proof for this. This is the probable reason behind sending the decree. The devilish ones inspire their friends to argue with you, meaning they will argue with you without having appropriate knowledge. When the polytheists heard that Allah and His Prophet ﷺ declared as impermissible the consumption of dead animals, whereas they regarded eating such an animal as permissible, so they said, because of their enmity against Allah and His Prophet ﷺ, how is it that you eat the animals that you have killed yourself, but do not eat the animals that Allah has killed? This referred to dead animals. This is an extremely irrational opinion that has been formed without any basis or argument. Rather, it is the result of their misguided and arrogant attitude. If the truth was dependent on their evil opinions, all those who live on earth, on this earth and the heavens would have suffered disagree and disaster. Disaster is indeed for the person who prefers his own misguided opinions regarding Allah's laws and commandments which have been sent for the benefit of all the people. This misguidance is in fact expected of them, since the devils, who are their guides and who desire that all the people become misguided from Allah's righteous path, place these evil opinions in their minds so that they consistently invite others to their evil ways, eventually taking them to hell. If you obey them, that is, if you accept their shirk and their opinion about declaring the impermissible things as permissible and the permissible things as impermissible, then you would become idolaters. This is because you have taken them as allies besides Allah, and you will follow the opinions that cause them to differ from the Muslims. Therefore, your path and their path will be the same. This noble verse proves that manifestations and inspirations occur in a person's mind. Such thoughts usually occur in abundance to the extreme Sufis, and on their own are not a proof of their veracity until they can be proven in the light of the noble Quran and the Sunnah. If the noble Quran and the Sunnah attest to their veracity, then they will be accepted, and if they negate the noble Quran and the Sunnah, then they will be rejected. If the truth or falsehood is unclear, then they should be held in in abeyance, or Abeyanse, abeyance, abeyance, Abeyanse, abeyance, meaning they should be neither accepted nor rejected, since revelation and inspiration come from the All-Merciful as well as from Satan. So it is essential to differentiate between divine revelation and satanic revelation. If this essential factor of differentiating between the two is not taken care of, then people may fall in such innumerable misguidance, sins, and errors that only Allah knows.
Jazakallahu khair. Santuma. This ayah, verse 112, 121, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا مِمَّا لَمْ يُذْكِرِ اسْمُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ. Eat not, means, O believers, of that, means meat, on which Allah's name has not been pronounced. Do not eat of that on which Allah's name has not been pronounced. وَإِنَّهُ لَفِسْقٌ. وَإِنَّهُ لَفِسْقٌ. For sure it is fisq, it is a sin and a disobedience of Allah. وَإِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ لَيُوحُونَ إِلَىٰ أَوْلِيَائِهِمْ لِيُجَادِلُوكُمْ. The devils do inspire their friends, means from mankind, to dispute with you. وَإِنْ أَطَعْتُمُوهُمْ إِنَّكُمْ لَمُشْرِكُونَ. And if you obey them, then indeed you would be mushrikun, you would be polytheists. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade to eat that which was not named His name on it. Do not eat of that on which Allah's name has not been pronounced. Here you have animal, originally lawful, a cow, she camel, a goat, and the like. And someone slaughtered it without. Naam, that animal, Allah's name was not mentioned. Allah's name was not mentioned on it. The Shaykh mentioned it's a different category. Who remember one of it? Allah said, don't eat what Allah's name was not mentioned on it. That includes what? Al-Maytah, what was not slaughtered. What was not slaughtered, Allah's name was not mentioned on it. What else? Also, the one is slaughtered, but the one who is slaughtered is a Muslim, or he is Jewish or he is a Christian. But they forget to mention the name of Allah. They didn't mention the name out of forgetfulness. What is the rule of that? What Sheikh said? It's permissible. Because human, we may mistake. If you slaughter, sometimes you may mistake and forget the name of Allah. Allah, out of His mercy, He make easy for us. In that case, when you eating, remember to mention the name of Allah. Say Bismillah. That's the opinion of some of the scholars who said if a Muslim, for instance, he forget to mention the name of Allah and he slaughter, is halal. Because this happened out of forgetfulness. Okay, the other situation, if he leave it, if he doesn't mention the name of Allah deliberately, intentionally, on purpose, he didn't mention the name of Allah, somebody, whether it's a Muslim or somebody, what's the rule of it? It's not allowed to eat because the name of Allah was not mentioned on it. Another situation, Ahsanta, what was not mentioned on the name of Allah but was mentioned on a name other than the name of Allah. They say on the name of Jesus or on the name of Hussein or Ali or somebody other than Allah Azza wa Jal. What's the rule of that? Was the name of Allah mentioned on it? No, it includes. What else? Now, Ahsan, that's Mayta. Ahsan, the animal which was not slaughtered, it dead. Whether being thrown from somewhere or whatever. Anyway, it dies, it was not sacrificed, it was not slaughtered, then was the name of Allah was not mentioned on it. So all this include, goes under this command of Allah. Don't eat that which Allah's name was not mentioned. Eat not means all believers of that meat on which Allah's name has not been pronounced. So if the animal was not slaughtered, you are not allowed to eat because Allah's name was not pronounced on it. If it was slaughtered, but intentionally the name of Allah was left, it's not allowed to eat because Allah's name was not mentioned on it. If it is slaughtered, but other than Allah's name was mentioned, is not allowed because Allah's name was not mentioned. Who can remember another situation? Now, okay. If you send your animal, you say your dog, okay, train. If you train the dog, for the animal, you cannot catch it. The wild or the like, you cannot catch it, for instance. Or even the cow or sheep come and run from you. You have no hope to catch it. To slaughter it, you train a dog, for instance. You train, you teach. In a way, if you give command the dog, kill, it kills. If you say leave it, it leaves. It will not eat without your permission, for instance. Now, when you are sending, you say Bismillah. The same thing if you're shooting, you have a bullet you're shooting, before you send or arrow, you say Bismillah. If it dies, Alhamdulillah. If you reach before it dies, then slaughter it. Slaughter it. If you reach before it dies. But if it dies by throwing, it's halal. Tayyib. What's the other group? There's another. Who remember now? Ahsanta, barakallahu fiqh. That's what I was looking for. Something, an animal which was slaughtered by other than Muslim or Christian or Jewish. Even if they mention the name of Allah on it, it's not allowed to eat. Because they mention the name of Allah, it's like not mentioning the name of Allah. Because in order to eat this animal, after it was slaughtered, the condition is that the slaughterer to be who? Muslim or Jewish or Christian. Allah said in Quran, He made the meat of the Ahlul Kitab, the people of the book, and they are mean Christian and Jewish. Allah made it lawful. So all those categories go under this sentence of Allah. وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا مِمَّا لَمْ يُذْكَرِ اسْمُ اللَّهِ. Don't eat that which Allah's name was not mentioned on it. So don't eat the dead. Don't eat what Allah's name, other than Allah's name, was mentioned. On the name of Jesus, on the name of such, of the country, of the sheikh, of the saint, haram. Allah forbade it. Allah said, "Innahu la fisq." It's a disobedience, it's sin. Don't eat it. Also, what was slaughtered by other than a Muslim or a Christian, Jewish, even if that person mentioned the name of Allah, his mentioned name of Allah is not considered. So it's not allowed to eat. What friends are Hindus or Buddhism or atheism, those people, they slaughter, even if they mention the name of Allah, let alone if they don't mention the name of Allah, it's not allowed to eat. Also, don't eat what Allah's name was not mentioned if it's slaughtered by a Muslim, and it was slaughtered, but he intentionally left it, mentioned the name of Allah. It's not allowed. If he forgets, in that case, it's allowed. Here is a question. How about if we do not know if this animal was slaughtered? We don't know if the name of Allah was mentioned by a Muslim or by a Christian or a Jewish. We don't know. Did they left the name of Allah intentionally to mention it? Or they left it by mistake? Or they didn't even mention the name of Allah? What's the rule of that? Yes. General. Okay. Again, you have here a Muslim brought animal to you, meat of goat, invite you to his house, or a Christian or a Jewish. He is slaughtered. It's he who is slaughtered, but you don't know it. Did he mention the name of Allah on it? Did he mention, did he forget it? Did he left it intentionally? You don't know any of that. What should you do? Ahsant. Barakallah. Yes. That is the origin. If a Muslim bring, you don't ask him, do you mention the name of Allah? Do you forget it? Nor the Christian, nor the Jewish. Therefore, Prophet Muhammad, when he was invited by a Jewish woman, Khaybar, who cooked a meat for him, he didn't ask, did you mention the name of Allah or you didn't? Even though she put poison on it. But Alhamdulillah, saved the Messenger because the meat speak to the Prophet and authentic and said, oh, the Messenger of Allah, I'm poison. And the Prophet, he didn't eat it. But he tested it. A part of it reached. And it is one of the causes he died is because of that. But that's about after 3 years. About 3 years. Khaybar was the 6th year. Prophet died the 10th year. The 11th year. So about 3 years. The people of knowledge said the wisdom is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give the Messenger sallam with the prophethood the reward of shahada. The reward of shahada, because if an enemy of Allah give you poison or he shoot you and you get wound and it takes time, even after 50 years you die because of that, still you are considered killed by an enemy of Allah. So Prophet, he was in that regard, he was shaheed. And it's authentic that he sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned that he is about to die because of that poison. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So the point is, Prophet, he didn't ask them. He didn't ask her. Okay. Likewise, you don't ask if he is slaughtered or he didn't slaughter. As you don't ask, did he mention the name of Allah? He didn't mention this Muslim. You don't ask him if he is slaughtered. That's the origin. The origin, you base on the origin. Whatever from the Muslim, when it comes to the meat from the Christian, from Jewish, you eat it. Here is a question. How about in certain countries, like here in the US, if those who slaughter are mixed, they have Muslims, they have Christian, they have Jewish, they have other people who don't believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, other people who are idol worshippers, all of those are mixed in this country. All this is, the slaughterhouse is open for everybody. If you look, you apply, is open for you. Unless there is a specific place for Muslims, for instance, or for the Jewish, but the origin is the counter is open for everybody to walk, just like Walmart. Now, there is a possibility that it was not slaughtered. There is a possibility that the one who slaughtered was not a Muslim, nor Christian, nor Jewish. There is a possibility, I even mention name other than name of Allah. All that you don't know it. What is the ruling? Naam. Naam. طيب. Based on what I remember, the ulama, they differ. The meat in the US. Some of them, like Sheikh Ibn Baz, they say it's not allowed until you make sure that the one who slaughtered is one of those three groups, Muslim and those others. Since people are mixed, anybody can do that. Likewise, also, if you don't know how it was slaughtered, this is the origin, is because people are mixed. And some ulama, like Shaykh Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, from the same ulama, Salafi ulama, from the same country, from the same, they have different understanding. Shaykh Uthaymeen, he said, is allowed. He said because the ruling is the majority of the people. The ruling, the majority of those who live in the US are Christians. He said that. And that's what's being considered. Not the rare case. The same thing. The origin is to slaughter. Unless it's known in a specific slaughterhouse and the like, that they don't slaughter. But the origin is that they slaughter. Al-Muhim, ala kulli hal, if you make more research, you look for it. But Allah said, subhanahu wa la ta'kulu mimma lam yudhkar ismullah. Do not eat that. Eat not, O believers, means. Of that means meat on which Allah's name has not been pronounced. وَإِنَّهُ لَفِسْقٌ. And it is fisq, he says, sin. وَإِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ لَيُوحُونَ إِلَىٰ أَوْلِيَائِهِمْ. Certainly, the shayateen, the devils, do inspire their friends and from mankind to dispute with you. The shayateen of the devil from the jinn, they give wahi, shaitan, revelation of shaitan to the human shayateen. They give them, they inspire to them. They whisper unto them. They tell them something. And that's what the human being shayateen devils, they come up to argue with the truth. What is that? Is that they say, as Shaykh Sa'di rahimahullah mentioned, they say the Jahiliyyah, when Prophet ﷺ said the animal should be slaughtered and Allah's name should be mentioned, then it's lawful. If Allah's name is not, if it's not slaughtered, it die by itself. Is the dead? Prophet ﷺ says it's not allowed. Allah said that in the Quran. What they say the idol worship said this is not right. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala killed the animal, it dies by itself. No human is slaughtered. It's Allah who killed it, take it his soul. You say it is not allowed to eat, and you human being, when you kill the animal, you slaughter, you say it's allowed to eat. They say it doesn't make sense. This is what Shaitan tell them. So they used to eat the meat, the dead. They say because the dead animal who killed, they say Allah. And this is true. And they say the one slaughter who killed the people are those who slaughter and kill it. And that's true. So they say how you say what Allah killed is not allowed to eat, and what you human kill is allowed to eat. This is the wahi shaitan. They get this from shaitan. Now, is this a sound analogy? Yes? La, it's not. It's not. Because number one, what Allah command is what Allah command. The animal belongs to Allah. If Allah says it's lawful, it's Allah is. It's lawful. If Allah forbid, it's Allah is. It's forbid. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثْلُ الْأَعْلَى. You have your own property. If you give your own property to somebody, you give to him. It's lawful for him. If you reject, it's not lawful for him. So the animal belongs to Allah. It's He who creates, subhanahu. It's He who provides. If He allows to eat, it's lawful. If He doesn't allow to eat, it's unlawful. That's one thing. Second thing, the people of knowledge said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He command to eat if it's slaughter and not to eat if it's not slaughter, there is a wisdom. And from that they say is the healthy issue, which if the animal is not slaughter, the blood remain in the body, you know better. The doctor, they say it keeps the diseases. You know, there are things Prophet ﷺ forbade to eat. There are things the Prophet ﷺ forbade to eat. Most likely one of those things is what caused now this you hear virus. All people are complaining about. Is because they eat the wild animal, which is not allowed in Islam to eat it. That's what they say. What do they call it? Naam? No, the name is the virus, coronavirus. I know that it's famous. But they say the root, the cause of it. Now they say some scientists, the doctor, they find out. They say that one, that's something take from it. Before that, they say there's a middle one. They mention another one. Al-Muhim, I don't know the name. Ala kullin, they eating, it caused, and it happened before, from those wild animal which the Sharia forbade to eat. And then these diseases comes out. For instance, yes? La, something else. I cannot even know how to pronounce it. You will know it, inshallah. They spread it, inshallah. Al-Muhim. So, Allah forbade to eat the dead because they say, the pure knowledge said, the wisdom is, if the blood doesn't go out, it remains in the body, then it corrupts the health of the, and then people get sick out of that, for instance. Al-Muhim. Ala kulli hal. So that's wahyu shaitan. Allah said, وَإِنْ أَطَعْتُمُوهُمْ إِنَّكُمْ لَمُشْرِكُونَ. If you obey them, yes, if you obey them, then you are mushrikun. You are mushrikun. If you obey them in what? Making unlawful what Allah made lawful. And making lawful what Allah made unlawful. Yeah, making impermissible what Allah make it permissible, and making permissible what Allah make impermissible. This is then worshipping them. Because it is to Allah to make things lawful and unlawful. If someone changes the rule of Allah, what Allah said is lawful, someone say no, it's not lawful, it's unlawful, and you obey him, you worship that one. Because tahleel, tahrim, making lawful, making unlawful is the right of Allah Azza wa Jal. So, and that's when Prophet ﷺ, when one of the Christians here, Prophet ﷺ reciting, اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم أربابا من دون الله. Al-ayah, that the Christian, the Jewish and the Christian, they took their people of knowledge, their worshippers, their leaders in religion, they took them as gods beside Allah. Adi ibn Hatim, who was not, I believe at the time was not Muslim, he said, we don't worship. He said, we don't worship our rabbi, we don't worship these people. Prophet asked him question. He said, don't you, if they make unlawful what Allah make lawful, don't you consider it unlawful? He said, yes. If they make unlawful what Allah make lawful, if they make lawful what Allah make unlawful, don't you consider lawful? Means the opposite of the rule of Allah. He said, yes. That happened. Prophet said, Tilka ibadatum, that's worshipping them. So, for instance, let me say this country, they say if you are certain age, 21 years, you can drink alcohol. If someone there believes that Muslim, he believes that after 21 years old, since the law say that, it's lawful for him, knowing the rule of Allah, which make alcohol unlawful for all ages. But he believes after that being lawful because the law says he worshipped the law. He worshipped those people who put the law. He fell into shirk because making things lawful, unlawful is the right of Allah. Unlike if he drink Iyadan billah, at that age, not because it's lawful, but because they allow him. But he believes he is sinful. He's disobeying Allah. That's a major sin. That's a major sin. Not shirk, not kufr. Because he believes the rule of Allah. Alcohol is haram. It's not allowed, regardless your age. This is what he believes. But he drink because the system allow him. Otherwise, they will punish him. For that reason, even though he committed a major sin, iyadan billah, by drinking what Allah forbade of alcohol, which is the key to all evil. The drugs, the alcohol, the intoxicants is key to all evil. If you want to steal, you want to lie, you want to do all kinds of crime, the key of it is drinking alcohol. Is taking intoxicants. Prophet ﷺ said, he said, وَلَا تَشْرَبِ الْخَمْرَ فَإِنَّهَا مِفْتَاحُ كُلِّ شَرٍ. Don't drink al-khamr, the intoxicants. They said the ulama, the al-khamr اسمها خمر العقل. It's whatever covers the intellect. Take it away your intellect. Whether it's through drinking wine or whether it's through drugs or anything. So, Prophet ﷺ said, don't drink alcohol. Why? فَإِنَّهَا مِفْتَاحُ كُلِّ شَرٍ. For indeed it is key to every evil. All evil. That's the key of it. And see some of the youth who are tested with this. نسأل الله السلامة والعافية. What they do that? They left the salah. They commit haram. They steal. They lie. They disobey their parents. Every door, they sell drugs. Every door of crime is open to them. Nothing because of that intoxicants. So al-muhim, so it's a major sin, but the one who drink it, believing he is sinful to Allah, he is disobeying Allah, he exposed himself to the anger of Allah, to the punishment of Allah, he's a Muslim because of his sound aqidah regarding to that. But again, he committed a major sin. He committed a major sin. طيب وإن أطعتموهم إنكم لمشركون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ فِي النَّاسِ كَمَنْ مَثَلُهُ فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ لَيْسَ بِخَارِجٍ مِنْهَا كَذَلِكَ زُيِّنَ لِلْكَافِرِينَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. توكل على الله. أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا. Just that ayah.
قال الشيخ السعدي أو من كان ميتا قال الله تعالى أو من كان ميتا فأحييناه وجعلنا له نورا يمشي به في الناس كمن مثله في الظلمات ليس بخارج منها كذلك زين للكافرين ما كانوا يعملون. يقول تعالى أو من كان ميتا من قبل هداية الله له ميتا.
عندك ميتا
أو من كان نعم جزاكم الله خير. أو من كان من قبل هداية الله له ميتا في ظلمات الكفر والجهل والمعاصي فأحييناه بنور العلم والإيمان والطاعة فصار يمشي بين الناس في النور متبصرا في أموره مهتديا لسبيله عارفا للخير مؤثرا له مجتهدا في تنفيذه في نفسه وغيره عارفا بالشر مبغضا له مجتهدا في تركه وإزالته عن نفسه وعن غيره. أفيستوي هذا بمن هو في ظلمات الجهل والغي والكفر والمعاصي ليس بخارج منها قد التبست عليه الطرق وأظلمت عليه المسالك فحضره الهم والغم والحزن والشقاء فنبه
الحزن والحزن نعم
والحزن والشقاء فنبه تعالى العقول بما تدركه وتعرفه أنه لا يستوي هذا ولا هذا كما لا يستوي الليل والنهار والضياء والظلمة والأحياء والأموات. فكأنه قيل فكيف يؤثر من له أدنى فكيف يؤثر من له أدنى مسكة من عقل أن يكون بهذه الحالة وأن يبقى في الظلمات متحيرا؟ فأجاب بأنه زين للكافرين ما كانوا يعملون فلم يزل الشيطان يحسن لهم أعمالهم ويزينها في فلم يزل الشيطان يحسن لهم أعمالهم ويزينها في قلوبهم حتى استحسنوها ورأوها حقا، وصار ذلك عقيدة في قلوبهم وصفة راسخة ملازمة لهم، فلذلك رضوا بما هم عليه من الشر والقبائح. وهؤلاء الذين في الظلمات يعمهون وفي باطلهم يترددون غير متساوين، فمنهم القادة والرؤساء والمتبعون ومنهم والمتبوعون ومنهم التابعون المرؤوسون، والأولون منهم الذين فازوا بأشقى الأحوال. ولهذا
أحسنت، بارك الله فيك. Inshallah, one brother read for us the English translation of this ayah. This ayah, verse 122, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ. Is he who was dead, means without faith, by ignorance and disbelief and sin, and we gave him life by knowledge and faith and obedience, and set for him a light of a belief whereby he walk among men like him who is in the darkness. That's the darkness of polytheism and hypocrisy, disbelief and sin and ignorance. أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا, is he who was dead. فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ, then we gave him life. وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ فِي النَّاسِ, and we set for him a light by which he walk among men. كَمَنْ مَثَلُهُ فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ لَيْسَ بِخَارِجٍ مِنْهَا, is he like him who is in the darkness, from which he can never come out of it? Allah said, كَذَلِكَ زُيِّنَ لِلْكَافِرِينَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Thus, it is made fair seeming to the disbelievers that which they used to do. Allah al-Karim subhanahu, in this verse, he compared two people. Someone who was dead, but Allah gave him life. And he walks between people by that knowledge. And someone else who is still in the darknesses. Not only one darkness, dhulumat, darknesses. He will never be out of it. Are those two people equal? The answer is very obvious. Someone who was dead, Allah gave him life, then Allah gave him light by which he walked among people. He has two things, life and what? Light. وَمَا كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا. Someone who was dead, we gave him life and we made for him light by which he walked between people. Through which he walked between people. Is that equal to كَمَنْ مَثَلُهُ فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ لَيْسَ بِخَارِجٍ مِنْهَا? Is he like someone who is in darknesses, will never be out of it? The answer is no. This is a parable between the one who was non-Muslim and Allah guided him to Islam. And Allah taught him. And he acted according to his knowledge. That's the one who was dead, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him life. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him light by which he worship Allah upon a knowledge. And the one who is dead, he will never be out of it, is a disbeliever. Is a disbeliever. Because the disbelief and the ignorance and the sin is darkness. Whereas the belief and the knowledge and the obedience is light. It's life and light. So the believer, he is alive. The disbeliever, he is dead. It doesn't mean he's dead, he doesn't walk. Yes, he doesn't move. No, that's not what it means. He is dead because what he's upon is not what helping him his life. As the people of knowledge, they said, your life, your real existence is when you worship Allah. If you don't worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that time, by which you disobey Allah, you disbelieve in Allah, you are not alive, you're dead. Why? Because it will not benefit you. In Quran, Allah said, He mentioned subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Fajr, that some people in the Day of Judgment, what they will say, Ya laytani qaddamtu li hayati. Woe to me, I wish I would have sent forth min righteous deeds, means to akhirah, li hayati, for my life. I wish I would have sent righteous actions for my life. For my life. This life refers to the life of akhirah. Means worldly life was not their life. They didn't have life in worldly life. The type of life they had is a life they didn't benefit for akhirah, for the hereafter. That's why they end up hellfire. They lost the Jannah. So the disbeliever, he is dead. He is umyun, bukmun, summun. He is deaf, blind, and also doesn't talk. That's the way Allah described the disbeliever, that he is deaf. He doesn't hear anything. He's a blind. He doesn't see anything. He doesn't talk. Why? What that means? He doesn't see what benefit him. He doesn't hear what benefit him. He doesn't say what benefit him. He doesn't benefit from his vision, from his hearing, from his speech for akhirah. So it's like he was blind. Is this very clear? When he comes the Day of Judgment, he will not have any good word. He will not have any good word to put on the scale. Therefore, it's like someone who was what? He didn't talk. He will not have mada. He didn't have any righteous action he gained through his tafakkur, pounded on the universe, on the ayat, on the Quran. So it's like he didn't see anything. He was blind. He didn't hear the remindings. He didn't hear the Quran. He didn't hear the revelation. So in the Day of Judgment, he didn't benefit anything from his hearing. So it's like somebody who was what? Deaf. This is the reality of deafness. This person comes the Day of Judgment, he will not get any righteous action because he heard the truth. He will not get any righteous action because he saw the truth. He will not get any righteous action because he said a good. He said the truth. He didn't speak the truth. So he don't have any action. What that means he was blind, he was deaf, he was mada. طيب. So in the ayah that the believer is alive. The believer is alive. Based on people, they don't have the same life too. Some of their life is strong. They're very healthy. They don't get sick, for instance. They have resistance to many of the flu people affected and the like. They have very healthy, very energy, very well-being. They hear better. They see better. They do better. Some people, they weak. They sick. But they still alive. Some of them, they are on bed. But they still alive. But these two lives are not the same. One life is strong, one life is weak. So the same thing in the religion. The believers, they don't have the same life. Some of them are strong and some of them are weak. Even though they are Muslims. Naam. So in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make a parable, compare between the believer and the disbeliever. Believer was dead. He was given life by Allah and he was given light, knowledge, iman, by which he walked among people. And subhanallah, you compare someone who was not a Muslim and he became Muslim and he studied the religion of Allah and he applied it. So it's on his manners, in his speech, in his dress, in his dealings, in his aqidah, in his ibadah. You see the difference. Naam. Even some parents, non-Muslim parents, they say they know Islam is the right religion. How you know? They say because their children, before they were Muslim, They were so corrupted, very disobedient to the parent, only causing problem to them. But when this person become Muslim, he only helped them, his parents. They say this is not the same person we know. Therefore, some of them, there is a woman who brought her son, 11-year-old, in a masjid in Virginia. 11-year-old, she said, I wanted this to be Muslim. And she's Christian. Why? She said because she saw she has a neighbor, Muslim neighbor, who take care of their mother. She said she wants her son to take care of her like that. Yes. She using her intellect. They call her to Islam too. So this is a reality. But that's not every Muslim. Not just by affiliation. Some Muslims, no differentiation, no distinction between them and non-Muslim. They lie, they drink alcohol, they listen music, they steal, they cheat, they do everything the kuffar doing except the belief. And Allah Alam, the belief also. But if a Muslim apply his religion, he act according to it. His promises, his words, his actions, his kindness, his truthfulness, his generosity, all this, his respect to his parents, his honoring them, to everybody. Now, this person, he live upon khair. Wherever you go, barakah. Wherever you go, the human, they benefit. And Prophet ﷺ said, من الناس من هو مفتاح للخير مغلاق للشر. From people, there are those who are key to the good and they lock the evil. And from the people, those who are key to the evil and they lock the good. عياذا بالله. So good news for the one who is key to the good. He opened the good, the khair, and he locked the evil. He locked the evil. Wherever the evil is coming from, he closed it. Wherever there is good, he opened it. We ask Allah al-Karim to make us among them. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Muhammad.